Right there, my eye just kind of glances over. 5 pounds at most. You know, spot that movement in the treetop. And then sit down. And then I stuck a stick through it. I know it's there. I'm looking for it. It's right. Friends, welcome back. I am Jason, and I have done my fair share of stealth camping. It's typically because, as a result of the way I like to travel. When I travel, I don't like to make a lot of plans. And when I don't make a lot of plans, it means sometimes I just end up in places and I need to get a little shut-eye, and that is in the form of stealth camping. Now, you can let me know what you think about that in the comment section. You can let me know if you think I'm a fool for doing such things and putting myself in risky situations without doing the pre-planning. You know, piss poor planning results in piss poor performance. What is it? How's it go? I don't know. Tell me in the comment section. I always seem to mess that one up. But anyway, we're going to do some stealth camping right now, and I'm working on the perfection. I'm working on perfecting the art of the stealth camp. So I'm going to tuck off. I'm on a trail right here, as you can see. Not much of a trail, but a little bit of a trail. But I'm going to tuck off not very far off of this trail, and I'm going to see if I can make my camp disappear. In my experience, it's primarily about site location. If you can find a good spot, it doesn't really matter what you do. It's probably going to blend into its environment, and you're not really going to be spotted. But, just in case, maybe you can't get that far off the road, can't get up that far off the trail. For whatever reason, you're hemmed in by buildings, houses, and you're not in the jungle like I am right now. So I'm not going to go too far off of this trail here, and I'm going to set up my camp as best as I can. And what I typically look for, step one, is to look for places that don't immediately stand out in my eyes. Now, if I scan around here, right, if I look around here, that spot right there immediately pops out at my eye. It probably does yours too, because it's bright and it's easily seen. It's bright, and there's not a lot of vegetation between me and that spot right there. So that would be a terrible spot to pick. This spot right here, right there, again, not great because I can see through that. My eye immediately goes to that spot. Same thing here. I look there because I can see further. But that, my friends, right there, my eye just kind of glances over. The would-be passerby would just gloss right over that because you can't see more than a few feet. I can only see like 10 feet in this direction right here. So I'm not even going to really spend much time looking in that direction. So that, my friends, is probably where I'd want to put my camp. Now, yeah, if the trail like bends around this direction, and suddenly I'm over on this side here and it makes it exposed, that's a little bit different. So we have to kind of think about all these variables. But if I'm just picking this spot right here, like I'm wore out, I'm exhausted, I've been on the trail, I've been running from the zombies all day, the hordes of lesbian biker pirates are back, and here I am on foot and I'm trying to evade them, and maybe I rolled my ankle, I stepped on this root or whatever right here, and oh crap, I'm injured now and I need to rest up for a little bit. Well, an injured ankle means you probably should just keep going and not stop, but that's separate subject. We'll talk about that stuff. Injuries on the road maybe later. Anyway, let's go ahead and set up our camp. Guys, if you like videos like this, stealth camping type videos, gear videos, instructional, informational, informative type videos like this, please hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't done so already. I'd be really grateful for it. I have an Amazon store. Most of the products and stuff that I use in this video will be in my Amazon store, at least the ones that I could find. So if you want to help support the channel, that's a good place, good way to do it, and I'd appreciate it. Trail is right there, not too far off of the trail, and we could set our camp up right here. Now, something I'm experimenting with that I want to experiment more with as far as stealth camping goes is sleeping in a hammock. So a week ago, I spent 3 nights sleeping on the ground. And in the summertime in Georgia, it's a jungle. It's a swampy jungle sometimes. The mosquitoes suck, especially when you're close to the ground. Carpenter ants, although they don't bite you, they crawl all over you all night long. The daddy long legs crawl on your face, you know, you get ticks. All the stuff that is irritating, you know, at the least, and sometimes dangerous. Ticks can be dangerous. They transmit a lot of diseases and mosquitoes, and it's just irritating. Sleeping on the ground is by far the stealthiest way to camp. It is low profile. It blends into its environment. It's really difficult to see somebody laying down on the ground. I mean, I could be laying down. Well, I'll show you. So you're in a tree at about a human eye level, about 5 feet, whatever. I'm just gonna lay down over there, and you can see how it's really difficult for you to see me just without trying to disguise myself whatsoever. So if you can just get low and be still, I mean, that's the secret right there. I mean, you probably couldn't really see much of me at all, if anything. I don't know, I haven't seen the footage yet. You let me know what you think in the comment section. Just laying down. So sleeping on the ground, I mean, if it's dire straits, I mean, if it's a life or death situation, sleep on the ground for sure. Because it's going to be really difficult for someone to see you if you're laying on the ground, especially if there's any kind of vegetation and stuff. And in lieu of vegetation, let's say you're in a place where, like a desert or something like that, where the vegetation is really short and small and stumpy, or there's not much vegetation at all, but there's, you know, rocks and various micro terrain that you can kind of get in and conceal yourself, then that's the way to do it. But like I said, in my environment, in the summertime, this time of year when it's hot and humid, buggy and wet, getting off of the ground gives you a significant upper hand when it comes to getting sleep. And if you don't get a good night's rest, the next day when you got to get up and move again, man, it sucks. So I'm going to experiment a little bit with trying to get my hammock system. This is it right here. This is at 5 pounds at most, and I've got everything that I need in here minus food. I might have some food in here actually. 5 pounds at most. I don't even think it's 5 pounds. And this has everything that I need in here for a few days for sure. And that's traveling. I mean, I could cover some serious ground minus the calories, of course. I think I've got a can of sardines or something in there. It's not much, but I could fit some more food in there, some high calorie packed foods in there, and I should be good to go if I was on the move. But this is all I've got right here. This P&W cinch pack right here with just a little bit of kit, and I could spend several nights out here no problem in the summertime with this right here. So this is it, guys. This is kind of my ideal shelter system in the summertime around here where I live. This is my Grand Trunk, super cheap, inexpensive hammock right here, compact and small and lightweight, has all the straps and stuff that I need in there to sleep out. Pretty comfortable. I've had this one for a long time and it is held up. I've had that for probably 10 years maybe. Got my SOL Escape Baby, the breathable kind. You guys have seen me use that in plenty of videos. That is my go-to shelter. It is fantastic. Rain or shine, it's good to go. A little bit of paracord, way more than I need, but I've got some paracord there. And then I've got my poncho, which is, you know, I never leave home without. And another tip, if you are trying to be super sneaky, set up your camp right before dark. And then break camp at daybreak, like as soon as it's bright enough to be able to see what you're doing, so you're not having to use flashlights and all that kind of stuff. As soon as you can see just a tiny little bit, break camp, and then you'll be a lot more sneaky as well. So something we need to be a little bit cautious of as I'm kind of experimenting with this stealth camp in a hammock, stealth hammock camp, is you got to be careful about which trees you secure your hammock to. If it's too small of a tree, while yes, it may support your weight. Let's see, this one right here, this is probably like the minimum that I would want to use. But if I get in my hammock, you know, people from a long ways away might spot that movement in the treetop. So I've got to be cautious of that as well. So this is probably as small of a tree as I would suggest getting in. You know, something more substantial like this other one that I'm going to be attaching to would be the ticket. Now, as we kind of mess around with this thing, low is going to be best. As low as I can get it to the ground while still being off of the ground is going to be the way to go. And that might require modification of the terrain. But generally speaking, I try to alter my environment just for a lot of reasons. I just don't like making a mark on the earth if I don't have to in a wild place, you know. But if I need to move something out from under where my butt is, the lowest point, so I'm not going to be dragging in the ground, then that's what I might have to do. But I'm going to keep this thing as low to the ground as I possibly can. Typically, you want a pretty good amount of sag. You want your hammock to look kind of like a banana. But that's what you want for a good night's rest. And when you lay diagonally, and you're not putting too much strain on your hammock when you do it like that as well. But when you lay diagonally, you can lay pretty dang flat when set up like this. But in this situation, we might want to get our hammock as low as we possibly can, and then make it just a little bit more taut, a little tighter, so we can get lower to the ground without sagging so much. So it's just maybe a compromise that we need to make. I don't know. I'm experimenting with this with you guys right now. So let's see how close my butt is. See, I got a little bit of room. I could lower this hammock down just a little bit more and be good, I think. So that's what I'm gonna do. I think that's about as low as I can get it without rubbing, without my butt hitting this log, without having to move. I could move that log obviously, but I don't want to disturb the ground if I don't have to. And you know, there could be a huge horde of carpenter ants underneath there, and when I mess with that thing, then they're crawling on me all through the night, crawling up my tree and then down my hammock and all over me. Try not to mess with stuff if you don't have to. Now, if I wasn't expecting rain, if I looked up at the sky and I felt like risking it, and I was like, there's no way it's gonna rain, I might just lay in that. And if it's hot enough like it is right now, it won't matter. Usually this time of year, I live in the mountains, so this time of year, the lows in the summertime are typically like 70s in the midsummer, you know. It might get down as low as the 50s in the summertime. It just depends on the weather, and that might be a little bit chilly swinging in a hammock. That convection, that breeze underneath you, especially if you're a little bit damp or something, that's less than ideal if it's in 50s. So I would crawl into my bivy bag and I'd stay warm. But if I was really hot, really sweaty, needed to dry out or something like that, didn't have extra clothes, I might just lay in the hammock like that, use this or what's left in my pack for a pillow, my poncho for a pillow, and then I should be good to go. But if I was expecting some heavy dew or something like that, which is definitely a thing, and you can get soaked from the dew without even having to rain, I might just pull out my SOL bivy here, which is pretty camoed as is, other than the shiny part there. Oh, and a trick. You want to see a trick? If you guys don't know about this, the hammock sleeping trick, maybe you're new to hammock camping, whatever. If you don't know about this, get inside your sleeping bag or your bivy bag before you get into the hammock. Otherwise, it is a pain in the neck. So basically, what I would do is I'd get really close to my hammock like this, stick my feet in, take my shoes off, obviously, like so, pull it up over me, and then sit down. And then it's all in place and ready to go as I lay down. The poncho is going to be my primary shelter that I use all the time. It's a little small for hammock camping, just a tiny bit small, and I get that, but it's kind of a compromise because I just don't want to be shifting my gear around as much as if I don't have to. I'd like it to be a little bit bigger and I could carry a bigger tarp. But if I'm trying to go absolute minimum, and that's my style, maybe not yours, but that's what I like to do. And I like to keep my gear streamlined year round. I use the same base kit pretty much all year. Just a few modifications here and there, but I just add insulation layers essentially is it in the wintertime. Now, it won't always work out perfectly like this, but in this situation, my trees are spaced pretty well apart. So all I did was take this little piece of bank line that I have tied to the corner of my poncho. Every single corner has one of these short little pieces of bank line, just a few inches. I slipped it through the cordage, the rope that my hammock is suspended by, and then I stuck a stick through it, just like that, just any old stick off the ground. And that is holding up my tarp right there. So now all I've got to do, I could basically essentially sleep in it just like that. That would keep most of the water off of me. And I have done that before, not with my poncho, but with a bigger tarp. And it's worked pretty good just like that without having even to suspend these out with any guy lines or anything like that. But in this situation, I think to make it even more discreet, to make it blend in a little bit more, I'm going to go ahead and rig this out, and that'll help protect me from the rain as well. There's one stake. This is my On3 EDC, guys, a knife of my design. If you want to get one of these, go to bearforestknives.com, link in the description, link in the comment section, and get yourself one of the handiest dang knives that you have ever laid eyes upon. Two sticks. I always stake at about a 45-degree angle towards my shelter, and that's going to keep it from pulling out so easy. Like that. So that right there is essentially our shelter as of now. Does it blend in pretty well, just like that? Yep. And we'll walk over to the trail here in a second and see what it looks like. I haven't looked at it, but we shall see. But first, I'm gonna tie off this hood right here. Get rid of that leaky rain catchment system right there. We don't want that. So I think what I'm going to do to give myself a little bit more rain coverage is I'm going to take a piece of string, a piece of my paracord here. A few feet would be fine. But since I got all this and I don't plan on cutting it, I'll just tie off here. Little bowline knot, make a loop ski, tuck it through, and a tug. Another stick toggle right there to hold them together. All right, so there we go. I'm pretty camoed, pretty set up here in the thicket. As low to the ground as I can pretty much get that and still be protected from rain and still be off of the ground in my hammock. So let's get in there, see how she rides, see how it looks. All right, now I think that would pretty much work. I haven't stepped off to see how sneaky it is, but that would work. There's enough air ventilation around me where I could dry out from, you know, being sweaty all day. I think that would probably get the job done, and it would keep me mostly protected from the rain. And I've also got that bivy bag that I could get into, and if I was getting damp or anything, you know, rain is coming in sideways, and my small little tarp here, my poncho tarp, is not adequate enough to keep me dry, that bivy bag will help. And that will, the combination of those two things, and I should be able to stay dry and warm enough during this time of year for sure, no question. Yes, I could further disguise this. I could lay leafy branches and boughs and stuff over the side of my tarp structure here. I could disguise this thing a lot more. You know, I could basically completely make it go away, but with minimal effort, with just choosing a good site, picking a good spot, using a camouflage shelter, a poncho, a green hammock, and keeping it as low to the ground as I possibly can, I think we're going to be okay. Now, one of the things that I did not do a really good job of is eliminating the straight lines. You can see, you know, straight line, straight line, straight line, straight line. And those will immediately jump out at the human eye. Like a horizontal straight line is something that kind of immediately pops out to people that are looking for it. But if you're not looking for it, and you chose a good spot, you might be able to get away with it. Yes, I could leave my shelter floppier and loose, but then it's more likely, I'm hung up here, it's more likely to, you know, hold water or to flap in the wind, pull my stakes out, all that kind of stuff. So a taut structure is going to be better, and it's just kind of a trade-off. You know, you want it to protect you from the elements, obviously, but in this situation, we also want it to blend in. So its primary purposes is to protect us from the elements, keep us warm and cozy, you know. But here we go. So crap, I didn't realize it was going to be that good. So I'm on the trail. My shelter is, I would say, 15 yards away, give or take, and I can barely see it. I know it's there. I'm looking for it. It's right. See if I can get you to see through all that. Well, take my word for it. It's right there. It's 15 yards away. Right there. Maybe a little glimpse of it right there, where the sun's hitting it on that spot. See it? There it is. But, I mean, there's no way if we were walking by on this trail here, I would even come close to seeing that unless I was really looking for it. And yeah, in this situation, I could go way further off the trail, way further, where there's absolutely no way anyone's going to see me from the trail, of course. But for demonstration purposes, I figured it'd be a cool idea to kind of keep it close. In a realistic, like this is roadside kind of camping, you know, roadside stealth camping. 15 yards is a reasonable distance to get away with, especially if you've got, you know, good vegetation around you. And you come over here, again, because of the spot that I chose, really hard to see it. If I come through the woods this direction, you know, this is not the trail. I'm off the trail right now. Still about 15 yards away. There's an open spot there where you can see through. See my shelter. But again, this is not the path of least resistance. It's less likely that someone is going to come from this direction. It's clear over here. You can see it. Pretty obvious. So low to the ground, a camouflage blending into its environment, colors, not shiny. Pick a good secluded spot that's away from prying eyes, and I think you're going to be good to go. So in the future, for stealth camping operations during the summertime, I may opt to go with the hammock. It's a little bit risky. I mean, it's not risky, I guess. The worst case scenario is all I've really done to stay absolute minimum is I've traded my ground pad, my sleeping pad, for a hammock. That's it. I've just swapped those two items out. So let's say, you know, there weren't any trees where I wanted to camp, or there weren't any suitable trees to string up my hammock. I could still just lay on the ground and, you know, lay my hammock on the ground, and that could be my sheet, my ground sheet. And that would work. But I'd love to hear what you guys think about this stealth camping operation in the comments section. Let me know what you think. Give me your honest feedback, your honest opinions. And another thing that I'd really, really appreciate from you guys is content ideas. What do you want to see? What videos do you want to see? I mean, I create videos based on what I'm interested in and what I'm into at the time. Like I'm into fixing up old bicycles and riding them across Georgia. That's what I'm into. Maybe you're not, and that's okay. But I'm going to continue to do stuff that I'm passionate about because it keeps me motivated. It keeps me excited to keep making videos. And I want to keep making videos and keep giving you guys quality content. But if there's something specific that you guys want to see, good content ideas, leave them in the comment section, and maybe I'll do it, you know, and maybe I'll give you a shout out in the video when I do make it happen. So I really do appreciate you watching. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Do all the clicking, all the things. Share this video with somebody, anybody, doesn't matter. And until next time, what's the worst that could happen? Let's just go on 3. Bonus stealth trick. Since you stuck around for the entire length of the video, you're getting the bonus stealth trick. Watch this. I'm gonna cut this branch right here and take it with me to use as camouflage. I'm just gonna use a little push cut. I'm gonna stress the fibers, without breaking it like that. I'm gonna stress the fibers and just cut through like so. And then because this is like this bright colored thing that kind of stands out, obvious human activity, I can take a little bit of dirt like this and rub it in there and make that go away, make that brightness disappear like that. Much more discreet little cut there. That's some detail stuff right there. Not absolutely necessary. And now I've got my bush here. And if I've got an exposed side of my shelter, like this side right here, it's kind of obvious from this direction, I can just plant a tree. Let's see what it looks like after. So that right there really did a good job of kind of breaking up that outline. And those straight lines that we talked about have gone away. Essentially, it's helped at least. And I could do that in, you know, various places around my shelter if needed. And no one would ever know. I mean, it'd be a long time before that branch right there died. Thanks for watching.